Hello my loves, it is Danielle and I am back again with another hair video. Today we are going to go over how I do one of my most favorite hair services, and that is a full head of hair extensions. In today's video, I am using the iLink hair extensions by Donna Bella, and I will show you a step-by-step tutorial on how I do a full head of hair extensions. I'll also be explaining in full detail why I use this particular type of hair extension, the benefits of using it, what to discuss in your consultation and look for in your client's hair, and I'll be sharing all of my most secret tips and tricks. So if you're ready for a full head of extension transformation, let's get started. So here are the tools that I use in order to complete a full set of hair extensions, most importantly being the set of pliers and the bead applicator tool. So I decided to set the mood a little bit because I'm doing hair on one of my very best friends from college tonight, so we're just gonna have some wine and make it a girls' night. Okay, so let's get on to the extensions. Here are the bundles of extensions. They come with about 20 strands of hair in each. I recommend getting between 4 and 5 bundles. So the next step is sectioning. Sectioning is absolutely critical when it comes to hair extensions. You have to ensure that your lines are clean and that there are no baby hairs interfering. If baby hairs get in the way, it becomes painful for your client because pieces are being pulled into the extension that should not be there. So clean partings and clipping those baby hairs back are very important. Now, each individual extension is secured onto the hair by using a metal bead that has a lining of silicone on the inside. The silicone prevents any slippage and it keeps the extension locked into place on the hair. Now, finding your parting is super important. The reason why I parted that piece of hair to the left is because you don't want to put the extension too superficial to where it will be noticeable. So by going inward about an inch and a half, that's going to hide the bead from being seen. Now I just slipped the bead onto my applicator and I'm sliding the bead up and pulling the hair through, looping it to the top, and then I'm going to insert the extension into the bead. It is absolutely critical to ensure that the piece of hair that you're taking from your client's head is the right width and that it's not too thin, which will allow the extension to eventually slip and slide down, but that it's not too thick that it doesn't allow the hair to go through and the extension to fit into the bead. You also must ensure that the bead is not secured too close to the scalp, because if it is, as it grows out, it's going to start pulling and it's going to be lifting from its natural position. You have to ensure that the hair is falling naturally and then clipping the bead onto that part. So you want to just make sure that there is room between the scalp and where you're securing the bead. And now that our first row is done, you could see where Megan's natural hair ends and the extension begins. So the iLink hair extensions are my most preferred permanent type of hair extension because they're the most comfortable for my client and the least damaging in my opinion. Most of the time the client does not even feel the type of extension in their hair. They don't even know. It just feels super natural compared to years ago when the iLink wasn't on the market yet, and the only way to do extensions was to cornrow a very tight braid and then sew the weave into that. I've had them. They were very uncomfortable, painful, caused headaches, itchy. I just find that this type of extension is so much more workable with the client's lifestyle and comfortable. It feels like the client's own hair. They don't even know that the extensions are in. I have been trained in alternate types of extensions. Like I said, I did the sew-ins. I also have been trained in the keratin extension, where it is actually, the bond is a keratin bond which is heated up, melted, and then formed to the hair. I do find that they are difficult to remove. While they do last a bit longer than the iLink extensions, I find that they're a bit more damaging. It's just my own personal opinion, so I like the beads much more than any other type of alternative extension. With proper maintenance, I find that the bead iLink extensions that I am doing on Megan last around 2.5 to 3 months. could be a little bit longer just depending on how they are maintained. I find that just because of the natural growth of the hair, every 3 months is probably the recommended time to come and get them moved up. So now let's talk about the consultation when you are giving that to your client for a set of hair extensions. Some people are just better candidates than others, and with extensions I do find that if the hair is past the shoulders, does have layers, that's more of a favorable situation for putting extensions in. It can be done with shorter hair, it's just a little bit more difficult and it requires more packs of extensions in order to make sure there are no gaps and that each part of the hair is being filled properly. Megan is a perfect candidate. Her hair is long, she has layers, and the blend is wonderful because it's very hard to tell where her natural hair ends and the extension begins. So for me, that's an ideal candidate. Now, extensions, as we know, are not just for adding length. Extensions can be used for a number of things. They can be used to add color if you're afraid to actually dye your hair. You can purchase extensions, dye those extensions, or buy the color that you are looking for. So you can add some funky, vivid colors without damaging your actual hair. Another reason is because I have a client who feels that her hair is thinning. So rather than doing it for length, we're just doing it for the volume. And it really does make a wonderful difference. My client feels like she has her natural hair back, and that's just a great feeling knowing that you're able to help somebody and give them back that confidence and just really have them feeling their best version of their self. So another thing to note is that once you remove the hair from the package it comes in, you'll notice that it's very, very thin and straight. And the reason for that is because the hair is treated. And as you can see, the hair on the bottom of Megan's extensions looks a little bit thinner than the top. So in washing the extensions a couple of times, I'd say after 2 to 3 washes, you do notice that the extension begins to thicken up. So I'm always sure to inform my client of that as they wash it a couple of times, it will start to thicken and expand. And that's ideal because it starts to look more like the natural hair that is on your client's head. Now you may be wondering why I don't have the client just wash the set of extensions and then bring it so that it's nice and thick and mirrors their hair a little bit better. The reasoning for that is because it is hard to do that on your own. To wash a set of extensions for a hairdresser is even a little bit of a difficult thing, and you have to ensure that you don't tangle the hair, that the hair doesn't fall from the rest of the pack, and it's not an easy process to do. So I just suggest putting the extensions in and then having the client wash them maybe twice in a row in order to thicken the hair up. So I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but I am using a different insertion tool. It's just a matter of preference. I like to switch back and forth. The other tool that I use is more of a topsy-tail loop-like tool that pulls the hair through. This one has a little clasp that you're able to close and just pull the bead onto the hair with. No particular reason, I just like to switch it up every now and then. So last but not least, let's discuss the duration of time that it takes for this service. I would give a rough estimate that any extension job ranges between 3 hours and 5 hours. So while it is on one of the longer sides of timing for services, I find it to be the most rewarding because usually by the end of it, your client is so happy and it's just such a huge transformation and by far the most enjoyable one for myself. And as you can see, Megan's extensions are actually perfectly blended to her hair. We actually went with the ombre type of extension, which started out from a medium to dark brown and blended into a lighter brown color. It couldn't have matched any better if we possibly tried. So we were extremely happy with the outcome of Megan's extensions, and she absolutely loved them. And funny enough, Megan was actually traveling a few weeks after I did her extensions and was worried about the metal detector being set off at the airport, and she was my guinea pig, and they did not set off the metal detector, so we are good to go. So as you can see, the bottom of Megan's hair will thicken up as she begins to wash it, but the blend is really gorgeous as of right now. So now that we have reached the end of this process, it is time to cut my beautiful friend's locks. I would say this is the most important step in the whole process, because if you cut too much hair off, there's no way of getting it back, and you just want to be careful to cut very modestly. And this step is all about getting the perfect blend between the extension and your client's hair. So this video was actually taken about 3 months ago, and in the process I have moved Megan's extensions up because of her regrowth, and she absolutely could not love the extensions more. Megan wore clip-in extensions for the past 2 years and finally got tired of taking them in and out and wanted something more permanent. So she could not have been more happy with the end result. Absolutely love them, and will be coming back to get them redone for a very, very long time. Her extensions right now should last her for a couple of years. I have been using mine for years, and my other clients have only had to buy a couple of new packs here and there because they do last a very long time. So now to just finish off the look, Megan usually wears her hair with curls in it, so I'm going to throw in a couple and finish off this beautiful extension transformation. I just run my fingers through that hair, give it a little fluff, and there we have it, a full head of eye-link extensions. I hope you guys love the end result. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to head on over to those comments, give me a like, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. And if you have any questions about the extension process, please be sure to leave them in the comments below. Thanks guys, bye!